All right, so I'm just making a quick video just to talk about our simulation that we did on Monday in emergency care. So I'm just gonna go through all the questions, talk about how they all went, what I could do better, what could have done differently, and all that sort of stuff. So first question I'm just going to go and talk about. It says, how was your simulation experience? Overall, I didn't think it went as clear as it did the first time. I think a few reasons for that was the person that was in charge wasn't, I don't want to say as confident, but didn't know what he was doing. Which is fine and okay. However, I think he should have asked, what else can we do next? Maybe to the rest of the classmates that were working with him. It was kind of obvious from the beginning that it was going to be a spine-borne situation based off the not feeling anything in the fingers and the injury that just happened in the first place. Overall, it was a good experience. It was a good experience in the fact that we learned what we were doing, but also it's kind of clicked that we have to be practicing this in everyday life. So what did you learn? I learned that we had to be very precise with how we talk, because some of these situations, such as the one we did with the spine boarding, is a life or death situation. And if we are not crisp and clear with what we want to do, I think it could really impact the person and maybe the outcome of them surviving or not. In this instance, I think they would have still survived regardless, but you never know what is going to happen. Other stuff that we learned, that was pretty much, those are the key factors, I would say, actually. What I think we could have done better. Was I satisfied with the ability to care for the patient, or with my ability? I thought I did a good job. I helped put the neck brace on. I helped with the blocks on the side of the head. Then when it was my turn to help move the patient, I think I did a good job, listening to directions and going and doing what I was supposed to be able to do. I felt I did more than some others in this situation. I guess that was what did I do well individually. Then as a group, I think we did all right. Obviously, it was a little slower compared to the other group. I know they went second. I know I may have had more of a plan, but I felt we were really, really slow doing everything. When it comes to these situations, we're not going to be able to just go and ask a bunch of questions. We have to go straight to it. We have to ask, hey, are they okay? Can you hear me? Are they responsive? We have to go check the vital signs, capillary fills, and we have to go through all of that. We have to make sure, we're right on top of this stuff. I think that was just the big thing for this entire group. I believe if we did that from the start, we would have, everything else would have came smoother. It would have gotten a lot done. We know we're going to make mistakes, so at least be confident while we're making the mistakes. Dr. V tends to say that a lot of the time, like just be confident in what you do. So I believe we had to be confident in that, because frankly, the person who's getting spine boarded doesn't know what the right thing to do is. So for all we know, not necessarily saying we can BS the entire thing, but if we're confident, they're going to be confident in us because it sounds like we know what we're doing. If we don't know what we're doing and we're kind of hesitant about it, that patient's not going to be confident in us, and it could cause more problems. As a group, I think everyone they did listen once instructions were given out. Some did step in and help, guide us into the next step, which was good. It just kind of took us a little bit to get there, though. And as I said, individually, kind of in the one before, I was satisfied with my ability to care for the patient. I think I did a good job and did what was told of me. If we were able to do this again, how would you handle the situation? I still have like John in charge, which was fine. However, what I think should have happened would be if he didn't know what was going on, or whoever the head athletic trainer is didn't know what's going on, one of us, that would include myself, to step in immediately and say, okay, we do X, Y, and Z next. Get this going and waste as little time as possible. It's either that or, just a whole new AT. I mean, sometimes we just haven't had time to study for this stuff, which is completely understandable. So maybe someone who's reviewed the situation a little bit more, maybe have them step in and be the head athletic trainer. Like, I would have happily done it, except I was volunteered for the head athletic trainer for the last one. What was the most important aspects of this experience? I think the important aspect was making sure we're doing everything correctly. So when we were strapping Randy into the spine board, for example, one of them we had the straps go over the arms. We were kind of uncertain where those went, if it was underneath the arm, if it was over the arm. So we did over the arm. We had to learn how to go underneath the arm. The sole reason for that was so thumbs can come out like this, and they have a little bit of movement here. And sometimes they can cut off circulation. And once they get into the ambulance, when they're gonna have to like check blood pressure and everything, it's already gonna be their arms are already gonna be strapped here, so it's gonna be harder for them to do that. So make sure those arms are free, and it's just kind of like the smaller details, making sure we're all caught up on the stuff that we needed to be, and just making sure everything is done perfectly. Maybe the hand placement on the head to keep the hand on the head. The athletic trainer, the head AT, does not move to help strap in the patient. They just stay there, keep talking to the patient, keep supporting the cervical spine. I think those were some of the most important aspects of the experience. Based on this simulation experience, what will you change in your clinical practice and improve patient care? So one thing that I think I would change in my clinical practice, assuming I become a head athletic trainer or just an athletic trainer or maybe my own place. Say if I have like students that are coming in, or kind of what I'm doing now, like at Southeast Polk, or was doing since it's canceled. If I was like in Devon shoes, I would go over with my students. All right, this is what we do for spine boarding. This is where I will be. This is where I want you guys. Are you guys caught up or understand what you're supposed to do in a spine boarding situation? I think that's very important, because we can tell them like, yeah, we know what to do, but actually going through some of the it's kind of like our own simulation of what will happen, I think would be very important. The reason I think it's going to be very important is so we know if there's ever an instance that someone needs to be spine boarded, we can help Devin. We don't need to ask questions, and that will make his life easier, make our life easier. All of us will be confident in what's going on, how to spine board. And that'll help us. That's going to help the patient, because the patient's going to, the patient is going to understand that we know what we're doing. This will improve kind of their thought process of like, yes, it's a scary situation, but at least we know what's going on, what we need to do. And one thing I might do is, maybe have a spine boarding poster, maybe in the athletic training room as well. I think that'll be very important, because, in case, maybe some of our patients or athletes are interested in like, okay, what would happen if this situation goes on? We can have like a poster that's kind of just sitting on a side of the room, and you can just reference that. It helps educate them, helps keep us up to date on what to do. And I think that would just be very important overall. I like this activity for mainly, it felt like we were again thrown into the fire, and it was significantly harder than our last one. So that one is it should have been more of a team effort than I think it was. I think we were kind of just all solely relying on the head athletic trainer, and that was kind of everybody else's fault. Like, we could always pitch in and help. So I think those are the major important things in our simulation that went on.